Younger Democrats versus the old guard. And Schumer's job is now part of it. The Democrats' shutdown split is turning into something bigger, a generational revolt. According to The Hill, Representative Ro Khanna is calling for Chuck Schumer to step aside as Democratic Senate leader. Khanna said, quote, "If you can't lead the fight to stop health care premiums from skyrocketing for Americans, what will you fight for?" Representative Mark Pocan piled on, calling the Senate deal terrible and accusing Schumer of failing the party. Senator Jeanine Shaheen pushed back, saying voters want cooperation, not chaos. She said, "We put the Senate back on the path to start doing that today." At the same time, the New York Times reports a coming 2026 showdown in Massachusetts. Senator Ed Markey, age 79, faces potential challenges from Representative Seth Moulton and possibly Ayanna Pressley. Moulton is blunt. Is he too old? The honest truth is yes. Pressley, a progressive ally of Markey, is weighing her own run, partly of a growing wave of younger Democrats ready to test the old guard. The shutdown deal didn't just reopen government, it reopened the fight over who leads the Democratic Party in the next decade. Okay, is Ed Markey too old to run for the Senate again? He's 79. He would be 86 if he completed his next term. I'm sorry, but the percentage of 86-year-olds in America who have Alzheimer's, dementia, is extraordinarily high. Voters shouldn't have to take that big of a risk. Let's go a little deeper here. Now, Chuck Schumer, he's nobody's idea of a charming, good-looking, charismatic political leader who all mid-America looks up to and says, wow, now that's a leader. Wish he could be president. It's a good thing he's in the Senate. Nobody's saying that. But does he deserve blame for 6 Democratic senators or a handful of Democratic senators crossing over and saying, okay, enough is enough. Trump's obviously not going to give us what we want. We have to make sure millions and millions of Americans don't starve. And we have to make sure 20 million Americans at least start getting some health care, even though they're going to see their expenses go up. So I don't think you can blame Chuck Schumer on that. You can blame him on not being persuasive all the time, but you try to convince 40 some politicians, all with huge egos, all who think they're political genius, that they should do what you want. You try it sometimes. It's not easy. It's fun and nothing's easier for a pundit, a business pundit, an economics pundit, or a political pundit to do than make fun of Chuck Schumer. But I got to tell you, this is a guy who has an extraordinary work ethic. This is a guy who's working 7 days a week, basically every minute of the day. He's done that his whole career. And he did it when he was in the state legislature way, way, way back a million years ago, when he was a member of the Congress at a very tender age. This is a guy who every single Sunday morning, when every other politician is relaxing, spending time with a family, reading, sleeping in, Chuck Schumer was always the guy holding a press conference around 10 a.m. Sunday morning in New York City because he knew he could outwork all the other politicians and get more media coverage. There was an old joke in Washington that the most dangerous place to be in Washington was between a TV camera and Chuck Schumer because he would run you down. And is he always the smoothest on camera? The most charming? No, but for sheer ability to have a strong work ethic, he really can't be beat. And I'm not saying credentials make person and you judge someone just on where they went to school, but he was a top student at Harvard Law School. I have absolutely no doubt that he has an extraordinarily high IQ, as does Ted Cruz. I'm here as a sane, sensible centrist. There are smart people and dumb people of both parties. Marjorie Taylor Greene, Ted Cruz, high IQ. Chuck Schumer is a very high IQ person. And I realize it doesn't make me popular to say that. I'm not going to get 10,000 likes on this video because I said that. So I don't know who would be a stronger Democratic leader. You can make a case that it could be anybody who's a lot younger than Chuck Schumer. Now, Chuck Schumer is a lot younger than Joe Biden. He's younger than Donald Trump, but he is getting up there in age, and it may just be time for a fresh face, especially given the fact that Nancy Pelosi has announced she is actually not going to run for re-election next time. So when she serves out her term this time, that's it. No more Nancy Pelosi. So What are we to make of this fighting going on with the Democrats? Well, you know what? That's politics. There's always fighting in politics. There is a war going on right now in the Republican Party about what they should do with their Nazi problem. And well-known respected commentators on the Republican side, like Tucker Carlson, cuddling up to Nick Fuentes, an avowed anti-Semite. There's dissension there about whether the foremost so-called think tank, it's really a PR firm, the Heritage Foundation, was out of step in essentially endorsing Tucker Carlson and his ties to Nazis. So there's a lot of wars going on at all times in all political parties. Nothing's really going to change that.